Hey everybody, it's Phoenix Dragon here, and it is time for some games. What is this? What is that? That should not have anything. There we go. Uh, there we go. Just making sure. Alright. We're gonna continue this Rise from the Ashes, the final day of the trial ladder. We are going to finish this case today, and if my avatar is off, just let me know there. Um, it's kind of weird today. I don't know why. Alright, hold on. Something's off here. Something's off. I'm looking at the camera, but I'm not looking at the camera. That button. Let's get this collaborated. Calibrated. There we go. Calibrated. Okay. Maintain neutral expression and hit calibrate. Okay. That's done. Natural pose. There we go. See, it's still slightly off. Because I think I moved my camera. That's what it was. Is that better? That's better. Okay. Okie dokie, let's get this done, shall we? Episode 5, Rise from the Ashes. And it's still kind of off there. Hold on. I know I had twisted this, so let's... Oops. There we go. Maybe that's what it... There we go. Is that better? There we go, that's better. Okay. Let's get this finished. We'll finish this game, and then we will... It's not quite picking up on things. Um, we will move on to a different game, probably tonight if we can finish this afternoon. And then next week I will have, some stuff ready for console night or pseudo console night. So yeah, why is that should not have access to that? Hold on a second. Minimize that. Minimize. Get me in here. No, it's disabled. Okay, that's good. Good, 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 good. Currently, okay. That's fine, because I don't want it to be enabled. Good, 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 good. The only mic that should be picking up should be that one. But I'm not seeing any movement on the bar in here. Cancel. Ooh, text to speech. I really gotta get that set up. Oh, wait, there it is. There it is. Okay, it's because I don't have any boost on it. If it's too quiet, guys, let me know. Should be fine, though. Alright. I don't have the little avatars on tonight because, although I could probably try, but I want to just see about using my face rig. And, okay, it seems very... Sorry, I'm just... Maybe I can move that around. There we go. Um... No, I don't want to move that. Oh, now it's no longer calibrated. 60 frames per second. Can I change that? Drop this down to 30, man. Doesn't need to be. Low priority processing. Wonder if that's what caused the problem last time between all my systems. No, give me... No, don't hit that button. Let's not hit that button. Alright, let's see if that worked. If taking that down to 30... Do I even have avatars on this one? I do. Okay, so there we go. Let's just unlock that, because we're going to drop that. Make them a little bit smaller. There we go. That way it's not interrupting with that, because I'll look over here and you can see, there we go. Should be okay now. Failed connection attempt. Yeah, that's fine. Hello? What? Why did it... Oh, there it goes. Okay, there we go. And the other thing I'm gonna do, oh my gosh, sorry guys, I do apologize for all this, is make sure all this stuff is operational, because it likes to not do what it needs to do when I need it to do it. Okay, there's all of that. That's all good. Yeah, no. Okay, can I mark them all as red, please? Like, go away. Okay. Okay, I think I've got it all working now. Alright, let's continue, shall we? Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting, pals. Ah. Oh, guess I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making Detective run all around. Wait, didn't I? On top of it all, you call me here? Happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this. To you. If there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was just talking about this the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You should at least study some evidence law, really. Yeah, that would definitely help. Why did it just do that? Okay. Technically speaking, they do study that in school. So, just saying. They kind of know it because there's no area of law that you don't know evidence law on. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. Message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him? I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. From Miss Sky, explains the 2 rules of evidence law. There's actually more than 2, but hey. We'll just leave it at that. Evidence law securely slipped into the pocket. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in the prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth? The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. Now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. Huh? She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This kid has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to the end. February 25, 12:52, District Court. Courtroom number 9. It's always number 9. Don't get me wrong, I like the number 9, but I prefer number 3. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this isn't where the prosecutor calls forth a witness, but, cough, cough, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain? You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable? Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. Then, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright? You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls. Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. I want to bring him out. We've heard from all of them. Well, except him. He's dead. I mean, I could bring him out, but he's not going to be able to say anything. Take that! Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Okay. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Was that when Drake was arrested? Dark was arrested. He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. I can't really see all my facial expressions with this guy. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power didn't help him either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged a crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with this forgery. Well then, how do you explain this?
Objection!
You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in this illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admitted then that you were involved in the forgery. Who, me? Or do you mean you? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do it too. Isn't that so, Righto?
Objection!
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Poor guy. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office. And their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. Thanks for the host unknown. Welcome back in. Welcome in. I hope everybody is enjoying themselves today and having a good day and staying cool as well. There we go. Get that going. Sorry, I'm trying to get more situated in my chair. I'm sitting on my sweater, which is not helping. There we go. Ah. This guy's a dork. I don't like him. My. Okay, that's fine. I'm done there. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. It's not so much we don't know how to put two and two together. We can figure out two and two. It's the fact that you as the chief police covered up evidence, and we are now having to prove it in a court of law. So, unfortunately, in the court, they need not only the word or the verbal testimony, they need the documentary evidence to prove the point. Evidence and forgery testimony. Let's see. What was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. They were found after Dark was convicted. Then they're useless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh, indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alrighty, Edgy. In return, though, I know, that place, right. Huh? What? Are these guys telepathic? I agree, these two are weird. I want to know about why it wouldn't help him to rearrange the crime scene. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you'd reap from all of this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh? The resolution of SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Ah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. Exactly. Which means there's more to it. There, it's out in the open now. Udgy, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do so. Never allowed, just saying. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me.
Hold it!
Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there been something in it for him. Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but it would benefit you. You might decide to assist someone. Huh? Mr. Wright? It appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? That would be Lana Skye.
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant? Hmm. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for the Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Not real puppets. Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you can control her. Right. Oh, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? I can easily see him doing that. Because as long as he's got her under his thumb with regards to her sister's the incident involving her sister, she'd have no choice but to do as he says. Right? So why not kind of mess with that, right? Um why is that not... Sorry, I'm just scratching my head here. Oh, thanks for the host, Descender. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a good day. I think that's right. Is that right? I think that was right. I'm just playing with my avatars. Do. It just seems like it's not registering. My camera here. Like, I can make that all bigger. I don't want to make that bigger. Um, Come here. Give me button. Give me button. Just woke up from a nap. Yeah. Come on. Key bindings. Oh, why do you... Sometimes I wonder about this. There we go. Come on. There's like a hitbox on this thing. It doesn't always want to work. Now past midnight. Ooh, been there, done that. No, I don't want a screenshot. No, stay awake the night and work. Yeah. How about you? I am doing quite well. I am trying to actually just stay cool because it is nasty, nasty, nasty hot outside. Yeah, now this wants to like actually work. Trying to, yeah, that's fine. Can I make that bigger? I want to zoom in on my camera. I don't know about this program sometimes. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's been nasty hot and it's just gonna get even worse. It's finally warming up again. It's been storming the past 4 days. Oh man, that's like that's below our lows. Like every night right now, it's like, um, yeah. See now it's not even. There we go. Our low has been like 15 Celsius, and the high today is 25. But but this weekend is going to be uh high of mid to upper 30s. So I think they said like 35 to 30, depending on where you are. Out in the valley that we call it, what we call the valley, which is like an hour and a half away from here, is going to be like 41. Yeah. Yeah, well, you don't want this warmth. You do not want this warmth. I'm just glad I have the week off, and I've just kind of been resting. And Sam, though, has to work, and he's out in it, and it's just, yeah. Today's the coolest day. Today's the coolest day, which is kind of scary. At 25. So, yeah. But I hope it does warm up for you. Do you have any proof of this that I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana, she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear it. Well, it probably sounds normal to you guys. I'm congested even worse now. Like, I'm blowing my nose, cleaning my nose with saline wash does nothing. Yeah. I really wish they hadn't stopped using face rag. They should have updated it more. Um, I do not use animes because they only allow you an hour and a half of streaming for free, and I'm not really willing to pay. I'm past the stuffy nose, just sore throat. I get a sore throat if I am streaming for more than a few hours. I think the other night, like when I was playing Minecraft and I was up till midnight streaming, after that my throat was sore. But we've had no wind, no rain. Like today, this morning we had a nice breeze, but it was gone within an hour. Sore from, yeah, yeah. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. Just take it easy and Hull. Well, I don't know if you get them. The cough drop hulls or Fisherman's Friends, other than the animal stuffs, the anime stuff. Yeah, yeah. Like, I like the animes. It's the same program as FaceRig. It's just the newer version and supposedly better quality. But you gotta pay for it to do anything more than an hour and a half. And I stream mostly 2 hours, so I mean, I guess I could turn it off and then turn it back on. I guess I could try that. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna do this today, and then this evening I don't know. Depends on how much we can get through this one here. I do want to finish this because we're still in the first game of Ace Attorney or Phoenix Wright. There's 3 others in this series. I got the anti-flu cough drops. Oh, good. Mm. I tend to take like Benylin. Again, I don't know if you guys get that over there. Um, when I start getting a sore throat, it does everything. It clears the sinuses, it clears the sore throat up, it gets rid of the cough. But don't want to take it too often though. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in the incident. Taking meds or anything, I'd rather take a cough drop from time to time. Yeah. Sanjin can't even take medication. Like, he had bronchitis about 10 years ago. 10 years ago? Oh god, I know it was longer than that. Where are we? We're 2021 now. 15 years ago? 14 years ago, something like that. And they had to put him on antibiotics. And of course, they come in pills, and he can't swallow pills. He can take cough medication at least, which is what he was doing before he went to the doctor. But, yeah, it was not easy for him. And when he has a headache and stuff, he can't do it. Me, I've gotten to the point with all my health issues that medications, like whatever. You just have to know when not to take them and when to take them. And be aware of all the side effects that come with it and whatnot. Never use any meds only when I must. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Like with my back now, it's not like I threw my back out and herniated a disc about 2 years ago. And I was out of like in bed for 2 weeks before I could even walk. And I had to take medication for about a year nonstop before the pain was to the point where I could not have to take it anymore. Um, but I still take it every so often when it gets to the point where I feel like I can't move too much or if it's really, really bad. I do generally take medication for my migraines because there's nothing I can do there. You didn't fight me for the fluids needed before surgery. Are they always, oh, the IV? Yeah. It's like the morphine or the whatnot. Yeah. See, when I get like lab work done or when I have a procedure done, they love me because it's like my veins are right there. They don't have to fight or anything. They don't have to hunt. They don't have to warm up any veins or anything to get them to like get all poofy because they're right there. It's such a tiny person. It's they love it. Me, I don't, but you know, this incident. Which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial, almost as if someone had been controlling her. I just don't like it, and I don't want it to give it to me the mask. Yeah. Just give me the mask, pass out, feel free to do what you want when I'm awake. I see, for me, when I had my hip surgery, they not only gave me IV fluid, they gave me the mask too. Mask was technically just oxygen. I had a procedure done before that. It was not a fun procedure. And they gave me morphine, which was supposed to knock me out, but I vaguely remember bits and pieces of the procedure. And but man, I was out of it though. It's like having your teeth pulled. Like when you get your wisdom teeth pulled, they give you all that morphine and whatnot. It's like you have no clue what you're doing. Sanjin thought it was funny. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor. When everything was broken after the motorcycle accident, I still didn't want to take any meds and anything. And then they just knocked me out and gave me everything. Yeah, I deal in personal injury every day, and I've seen a number of people do that. And yeah, they don't want to take medication. I pulled out every needle they stuck in me out. Yeah. 'Cause you don't, I mean, it's hard when you don't know what they're doing. Um, and it's not fun, that's for sure. I mean, after my hip surgery, I remember hearing my doctor tell the nurses, don't give me anything beyond extra strength Advil. And they gave me Percocet for the pain. Rather feel pain than nothing at all. Well, if you feel pain, it means you're alive, right? And so they gave me Percocet, which at one I'd never had, but two, because I have to be so specific about my medication, if I get a new prescription, my pharmacist has to actually call the manufacturer and go through all the ingredients with them because of my allergies. And which I feel so sorry for them to have to do. And I never had Percocet. They didn't do that, and I immediately threw it up. And they went, "Oh, right. I guess we shouldn't have done that." Kind of feel what they were doing to me. Yeah, yeah. Is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. We're gonna bring down the chief of police, people. What? Order! 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 I said order! I'll have a burger, fries, and salad, and a chocolate milkshake, please. All gluten-free. And I've yet to get my order. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This this is an affront to the highest ranking officer in your law enforcement agency. Not my law enforcement, dude. I am a lawyer. Burger, fries, and chocolate milkshake? I'm down for that. Yeah, I know. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. Dude, you and he have been having a weird conversation throughout this entire trial. Like, you got some things going. Like, he has stuff on you. I'm trying to keep it PG, folks. I will try. Yeah, if I have a burger and fries, I have to make it myself. The chocolate milkshake's probably not so bad. Most chocolate milkshakes are uh, gluten-free, so it's not that big of an issue. But there's really no good place to get one. So, like, at least right now, well, our restaurants are finally starting to open up, so maybe I'll have ours. Like, I wonder if they would let me do a pickup for one. Do they even do milkshakes? Now you got me thinking about milkshakes. And it was my fault. I started it. Yeah, San's the same way. Sanjin's the same way. No. Beverages. Let's see. Bottle. Dang it! They don't do takeout. They don't do takeout. Or they do takeout, but they don't have like milkshakes for takeout. Dang it. Yeah, no, thankfully my Boston pizza, which is where we go every week, is completely just buy chocolate ice cream and blend it with milk and ice. Ooh. Yeah, I wonder if that would work. I mean, we have a pseudo blender. We have a bullet, magic bullet. And it has the big blender option. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Sorry, I'm just wiping my nose here. Not that you guys need to hear that. But yeah, we do Boston like every week, and they are so good to me. Like, even when we were going for sit-ins, they're like, It's an allergy. We know it. You do it myself deliberately. Yeah, what did? Oh, we burnt the motor out on our bullet. So we ended up buying a second one just so we can get the motor. that that's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in an easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Had to double check to make sure my AC was still running. Looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? Yes. Present the chief that the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder. I can. Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. But just try it by. I'm gonna have to. I must go buy a blender. Oh yeah, like I love our. We don't use our magic bullet all that much. It is the only blender we have. But we've had it since it first came out, and it's done wonders for us. And it came with a recipe book, and I think the new one did too. And I would not trade it for the world. Like, and recently, my grandparents actually gave me a steamer. So, like, not a pot on the stove kind of steamer. So I'm like, I really should try that out. And Son and I are trying to kind of get a little healthier in our diet. Not because we need to lose weight or anything, but I have to obviously be careful of everything I eat. So I was like, oh, we could do that. It's like we could steam like vegetables and fish and other good, enjoyable stuff. Sometimes you don't need to go out and buy it. It's just whether or not a family member has one that you can borrow and not return. Don't use too much milk. Yeah, or just water. Yeah. Well, that's because there's milk in ice cream, right? Just add it till you have the right thickness. Yeah, it's basically just to loosen up the ice cream. And we do need to buy ice cream this week because apparently we are out and we didn't have any, and we didn't pick up any last week. So, question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. 1 glass of milk. Oh yeah. It's the ice part we'll have to do because that part, I think our blender will do ice. We'll chop up ice. We don't. You can buy ice, but we don't use it that often. So, I mean, and we have ice cubes that we have, so we can use that. And crushed ice at the end, yeah. Because our cat loves ice. He likes to play with it. Or is that the old cat that we had? See, alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Okay, not that one. Ice is not a must, it's just extra touch. Yeah. That one? No. Oh! I was looking at the wrong one. Ah, there we go. That one.
Take that!
This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open it. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the same day of the crime. He seems very upset by this. Order, order. I already placed my order, dude. Your service sucks. I unfortunately do that at work, which is why I don't go to the courtrooms. I thankfully have never actually said that in court. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was a violation of regulations, and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished for the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. I love when they get all angry. Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. You go to the bathroom in the evidence room? That's not very good. Detective Goodman wouldn't happen to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days.
Objection!
You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
Objection!
No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting. Normally, you do not have the defense and the prosecution teaming up against a witness. In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Where did it go? I want this. There it is. Lost item report. Can only be submitted to the Chief of Police.
Take that!
Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or, to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you were in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. Needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh? Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it,
Objection!
could have. Sorry, but that's not possible. Huh? According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Ah! Ooh, hey! Aha! Where am I here? Yes, I am using a walkthrough, because I'm lazy in these kind of games. But I wanted to play it, so... You still get the same response. You just get less repeat. Murder was most likely in a spur-of-a-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
Objection!
You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. and everyone's aware that Lena stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. So you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was useless clue, just taking up space. How could the chief of police have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Ba 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 ba.
Take that!
This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver. But what does that have to do with this case, Mr. Edgeworth? Think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Bingo. After the ceremony ended that day. So basically, to bring you up to speed, Gant killed Goodman, stuck him in to Edgeworth's car when he told Edgeworth to take that screwdriver to the prosecutor's office. Boom, the body's been moved. Ha! I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean the body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. Body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Edgeworth's car? Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order! 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 What's going on here? You have slow as stuck up. Okay, guys, I gotta take a break for a second. Be right back. I stand corrected, folks. I did not need to take that call. I get the robocalls like so badly. It's ridiculous. Just gonna pop a little. One of these days I'll record the darn thing. I really will. That one. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna do this real quick. If I don't, I'll forget what number called me. Because they use local numbers to do it. Hello, thank you. And it's bloody annoying. Yeah, well, it's not really a spam call. It's a threat call. It's basically people using local numbers and going, we're calling from the government, and because you haven't done this, this, or this, there's going to be warrants out for your arrest, blah, 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 blah. And it's really ridiculous because even when you get, like an actual person, it's extortion, phishing. It's really stupid because you go over this whole thing, and I've had them then come and get you. Exactly. That is exactly my reply when I get an actual person. But they've gotten to the point where they um, use robos, so you don't know who it is. You don't unless and you get to a point where they go press one to do this, and then you get into there. And one of these days, I'm gonna get, like when I'm not streaming, because these tend to happen when I'm streaming. And I don't know how long it's gonna take, so I don't want to like interrupt the stream too much. Um, that they that you get a real person. And by that point, I had one call me at work on my work phone, which was hilarious because I work in a law firm. And they were telling me that they were from like the IRS or our version of it, the Canadian version of it. And I'm like, dude, if the government really wanted to arrest me, they know where I work, they know where I live. If they have any issues, come on by. And they hung up on me. So it was really funny. So I'm just going to do this real quick. I hate those people. So sad that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and our government actually has set up um, a web page that you can actually go to that says, "Hey, um, I'm reporting this uh, as a fraud." Yeah. What have I done? Submit. Yeah. So yeah, one of the it's just ridiculous because it happens so much, and of course they hit up people too, like my grandparents. Thankfully, my grandparents never answer the phone unless they know the number. But on something like this, I would mess. Yeah, well, for us, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to be racist or anything like that, but the reports that I've heard of people getting these calls, they use local numbers that one, if you phone it back, it's not in service. So they're using burner phones, but they generally are not from Canada themselves or the States. They're actually from the Middle East. Unfortunately, and I hate that because it puts such a bad image on those people. And I know so many from people that are from there. They're really nice and they wouldn't do that kind of thing. But it's just like, are you kidding me? And so many people, unfortunately, especially the elderly, um, fall for it. And especially those who, there's been so many cases of those that were victims of it that are elderly and don't speak English very well. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, there's been scam calls like, "Hey, it's your grandson. I'm in jail. I need some money to get out." And it's not their grandson. Or I'm in the hospital. Like they play on their sympathy. Like thankfully in my family, if they did that to my grandfather, he would sit there and go, "Okay, get yourself out of it." Like he he's he is himself a former cop, so but if any of us phoned him from some number he didn't know, he would just sit there and go, "Okay, get yourself out of it. You got yourself into this mess. Do it yourself." Mhm. Yeah, they're going around everywhere, unfortunately, and it's so sucky. It's really, really stupid. Um, so I do feel for those who, unfortunately, I don't feel like they brought it on themselves, the victims, but I do. It's one of those things where the younger generations, especially here in Canada, need to educate their parents and their grandparents so that this doesn't happen to them. I mean, it's all over our news all the time. So, yeah, just give me one sec here. You think I'd have an, since I have an AC unit, it wouldn't get so hot, but then I realized I'm wearing my Udi. But yeah, it happens, and I mean, I thought it was funny when my dad got one, and he just handed the phone over to my mother, and she just tore into the person. But they have gotten to the point where they're no longer they've turned to the robocalls, so that people don't know what language they are because they were getting hung up on. Oh God, yeah. There was a guy. Oh, on YouTube, there was a guy who put up a video of him trolling um these kind of people because he got a call. And there's also on Twitter too. There have been times where cops have been called on with these things, and it's so hilarious watching their responses. But there's a guy who's actually a computer developer, and yeah, that's the guy. I think that's the guy. He created a program that actually traced back the phone number through all the little things and just started spamming them. Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph which Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of a body being stuffed into the trunk to be taken away. Exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I did, like, I saw that. I was just like, oh my god, that's how you do it. But yeah, they unfortunately, like I said, they've gotten to the point where it's robocalls, and so many people just hang up on them. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to where my camera is right now. Swapping out my sweaters. I know. I have an AC on, and I'm putting on a sweater. Uh, we have one AC upstairs and one AC downstairs, and if I turn any of them off, it gets really warm in here. There we go. Oh, I can't wait for my new desk. I'm just saying, folks. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. Ooh. It's time's up. Wait, whose time's up? My time? Your time? Okay. Boop. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're to make it in time for an early bird special. There is no early bird special in lunches, dude. And you're not that old.
Objection!
But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. If I pick up, if I get the wrong idea. Yeah. Oh, I know. I unfortunately get the calls too where there's someone on the other end who phones me and they go off in their native language and I have no clue what they're saying and they don't stop long enough for me to say, hey, you got the wrong number. Um, but even then, I've gotten robocalls in that manner. And it's like, yeah, so I'm just gonna hang up here because, I don't know what the hell's going on. The problem is I'm waiting for specialist calls. So if I don't pick up the call, I could be like missing out on my a specialist appointment. So yeah. Remember what I told you earlier? Police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse testimony. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
Objection!
So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman? That's what you're saying, right? If you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? I have no proof yet. I don't. I only have the evidence that was in his safe, which has been presented, and I have one more piece of evidence which has not been cleared through the police, which you have to apparently do in this game. So, which is not actually accurate. Just a warning. There's no use showing evidence if I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor, at present I have no conclusive evidence. CIG? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the police chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck is on my side again today. Haha, okay, IG, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What?
Objection!
What? What's going on? Lady Luck? Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth? What do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. Lady who knows the truth, another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse testimony. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth? Who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth Lana Skye.
Take that!
The defendant, Miss Lana Skye, she was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21. Her task is to dispose of the victim's body, in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth, prosecution had no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in recess. Hold on! Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to listen good, Lana. Sorry to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. That's an issuance of threat. Technically, that's illegal even by a police chief, and therefore that could be charged against him. But look at this face. Like, he's so conniving, little fudger. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyways, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. I don't like him. I really, really don't like him. And this dude looks like a deer in the headlights every time. And I swear, he's got that... The chief's got him in his pocket. Okay, if there's aren't any further objections, this court will now in recess. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Ah, don't worry. I already decided where to work now. At your office. Ah, wait, what? My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. You mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair. He has the right to refuse testimony. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything, too? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by a terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders? She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blame yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Oh, I see. Oops. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right? It's time to end this. So I have 2 more games with Phoenix Wright. And then at some point I want to see how yes, I want to save. I want to be able to get a hold of Edgeworth, which is Ace Attorney 2, I believe. Ace Attorney 2. No. Ace Attorney Miles Investigation, which unfortunately only came out for the DS, which I do not have. And I mean, it did come out for the iOS. I don't know how I would do that on the iOS. And there's a bunch of other games as well. For this series, but so I'm not going to be able to do that one, unfortunately. I would love to. It's supposed to be really funny. But I do have coming eventually on my wish list. Where is it? Ace Attorney Chronicles. So that's coming soon, supposedly in July. So that should be fun. Alright, let's get into Lana's testimony here. Let's finally get her to actually do what she needs to do and tell the truth. As a prosecutor, she should be telling the truth. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? I, Lana Skye, hereby tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know that all that I've done in these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye, and remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get to Gant. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Bull cruddy. Bull cruddy. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to the capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know, my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's back. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. It's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies, even with more lies. All just to protect me. I swear, she's reading his mind. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of the knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Wait, what? Moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. Why did you move the body? When you showed up the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Skye moved the body. Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. So this jar.
Objection!
I don't know why it says objection. The Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered. If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention. Before I go on, I just gotta say, if she's found guilty, every case she's worked on for 2 years, just like in the police department, would be brought into question. Every single case, which means criminals who are actually guilty and were found guilty because of evidence that was accurate and true would be up for reevaluation. And it could be potentially thrown out. So they would have to do everything all over again. So to me, even if she's trying to protect her sister, that would not be a good thing to do. Because now she's not just throwing her sister's life in jeopardy, but she's throwing every one of those family members or of the victims as well. A significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this was the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Bingo! Haha. Order! Order! No, we're not going through this again. Forget it. I canceled my order. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor? It seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth toward which we are headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was in the dark room that I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were so large, I'm sure I got at them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. So, I'm just going to present the jar to her again. I don't know, something's off here. The Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about the final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Chief Gant got there before you. That I did not see coming. Come on. There we go. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece?
Objection!
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that?
Objection!
Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. Like, seriously, what the heck? There's no way a name would have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar?
Objection!
The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer this then? No. Nah. No. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar. And purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. Why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards? Isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark. Sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. I wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem to type to likes to twist the truth. Hey! Wait a minute. Uh-oh, I'm thinking. What if? We're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap. Something wrong, Mr. Wright. Lana, maybe right after all. What do you mean right? So, you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back... Sorry, I'm tilting my head down. Then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking you over, Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify. But what I really saw. Technically speaking, all the lies that are being told on the stand would, put them all in jail. And I've got to reconfigure this face rig. It's not picking up the mouth movement as it should. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. The actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she'd done it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword. Sorry, I was just reading something. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. Huh? I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. Wait, what? Me? It's a picture I took of the scene I encountered. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her that... Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. The only thing I got this morning was this. Oh, wait. Yeah. Hey, there's a picture here. No, really? Hey, oh my. There's a big chunk of his vest missing. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I'd rearranged everything. Lana's picture inserted into the court record. Yes, Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? What's this? It's the one with the fingerprints. This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now will begin its cross-examination. When I arrived at the Come on now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. Now, wait, what now? You want to make me out as a bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
Objection!
I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make any statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Good. Ah! Yeah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone. So, what's your excuse, righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as a murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present the piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? I can't show it because it hasn't been cleared. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie, Chief Gant. You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like a part has been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this? In your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, righto? Well, I can't just let you pin me up as a murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I had made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw this scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Skye. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I had 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance. Of course. Insurance. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hit the most legible part of the Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces.
Objection!
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on it jar too? Ho 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 ho! Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, righto, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut from off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, but Chief. But that's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, righto. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess this up. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered the prosecutor marshal.
Take that!
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of evidence, this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes! At last, you finally brought it out onto the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that it mainly be sent for analysis. The handprint on the leather must have been a strong impact for that to be left so clearly. You mean, it could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho! You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already knew? You knew whose fingerprints were on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be a real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? It should be okay. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these finger belongs to?
Take that!
But, Emma Sky. What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Ho 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 ho! You're really something, righto. You knew this girl did it all along. Again, you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky, you knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it is, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Can't got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about the contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Sorry, my nose is running, guys. It's trying to run away on me. Mr. Rice, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Oop.
Take that!
Ho ho ho! It's fun watching you squirm, righto. This piece of evidence does indeed seem to contradict something. Your outward appearance of mental... Wait, what? Oh, shoot! Wrong picture. Right about it. It's too late to turn back now. You're the only one who can put an end to this, right? Chief Gant, your tyrannical ends right here. Behold the piece of evidence. Yeah. Wrong picture. This picture. Oops. Present.
Take that!
Hey, Descender. Yeah, stretch. It's too bad the face rigs don't aren't whole body things. You can see this. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. The blood is outside. See where the piece of vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all that blood on the vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Mm-hmm. It's... Wait, there's no blood on it. Uh-huh. Ah. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the arm or sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose and leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. Objection! Ho 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 ho! That was close, Rido. You almost had me. Sorry, but you will have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see that piece of cloth? It's illegal evidence. Oh, for fudge sakes. See, this is why we didn't present it before. Order, what nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Reggie? Earlier, old Rido here concealed that piece of evidence. Piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence to present at this time. See, he said it at this time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. Oh, did you actually think you could beat best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? Seems at last the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? Did you that you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of evidence? I did not. I admit I refused to present evidence at one point. Ha ha ha! So the evidence is illegal.
Objection!
No it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean, you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Edgy, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really...
Objection!
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you cannot prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Where's that book? With the cute little picture on it.
Take that!
This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at the point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. Second rule of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take a look at this picture and...
Objection!
Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No, he's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's vest. Ah, yes. No. It was then that you proved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally proved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before the prosecutor marshal in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who could that be. Damon Gant, the killer, was you. No, no, he's completely lost it. I'm not saying all that. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then, all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken back by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that cursed night. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might have stumbled in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. It used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Skye involved in all this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out, so you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. Felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. It's like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. Gotta hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me were the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try and go it out alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Aji? What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. Huh? I'm sorry too, Demigant. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and example to others on the force. Sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now, you have a righto here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. What? This guy has lost it. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes, first, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Demigant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years, from the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. So, but it seems that all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. Sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all the trouble. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. She looks like Mia. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky? And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Huh? You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems this good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky? Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact you still acted as his accomplice, a trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone far too long already. Agreed. Agreed. Regarding the charge of murder, and I'm still waiting for my meal, by the way, Judge. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. I wish they did that in real court. It's like, not guilty. Can't see what I'm doing with my hands, sorry. That is all. The court is adjourned. That was the first one? Alright. February 25, 5:03 p.m. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. but Lana didn't say a single word. Hope I'm not interrupting, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, he's such a lost puppy. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making Detective run around all while on duty. To top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people funerals. Hey, lighten up, people. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in this mess. Sis? I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. Scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No? Huh? I had turned my back on you that day. In hiding that what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. Hey, OCD! How's it going? That one. That one. Ha! I did it. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Aww. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find a way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright? Mr. Gumshoe? Me? Thank you both for all you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. He's such a grump face. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. Despise criminals, I can feel it. You and me were the same. One day you'll understand, and oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it brings down, what it takes to bring them down once you try and go it alone. Sorry, I can't read today, apparently. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true. But think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright. Show what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Wait, was I supposed to present something here? I don't know what I'm doing, apparently. Do. Da. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. This one, yeah.
Take that!
That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to complete and restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. He does not like compliments. Like, he does not. You'll excuse me. There are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. She's not going to be the Chief Prosecutor. So. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my things too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I like Edgeworth. I get it where he's coming from and why he does it, but I get it. Better be going too. Okay. I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. Scientific investigation? What a little cute little bunny. Like, I'm sorry, these books that she's giving them are made for children. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. Well, she's like 15, so... And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. Journey to rediscover myself. We need an assistant, that's what it is. Well, don't be trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks in the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had to go outside. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright, here's the one who will be footing the bill. Huh? What, you think I could afford it on my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Wait, huh? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Objection!
Wait, what? I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. Hope she'll be pleased to study under the top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Oh. It says I can find pictures, but... Oh, it's... no. What? Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, we'd be worse than firing. That's just what it goes to show. You can't shake me off that easily. I guess these are the photos they're talking about because it's like I click on it and it doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't let me do anything. Come on, let me find those pictures you're talking about. Scratch my nose. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of the Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them no, someday I'm going to make a detective. Yes, sir, then I can be just as like Dick Gumshoe. Meekins. There's whatever. There's the creepy looking thing that is the police mascot. Uh-huh. And it broke. Ugh. I gotta say, I do like these games. Why did I not play them on the DS? What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with the steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. Okay, what is he in for? You even gave Bambina back her sister. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Billy's the cactus, by the way. Excuse me. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the right way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Oh yeah, that would suck. That would so suck. Just taking a drink. Just hydrating. Alright, Judge. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see what his name... What was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I got another trial to get to, so I better be... Huh? Oh, no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. I'm hoping the next game has a completely different judge. Just saying. I don't know why it looks like I'm squinting, but I'm not. Maya! Ah! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm fully fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training is about to begin. Ah, coming! Well, see you around, Nick. She is another young blood. under the age of 19. They start them so young these days. I'm not trying to read any of these names because I would so screw them up. Even though I took Japanese and I know how to say them, I would still screw them up. Edgeworth's office. Mr. Edgeworth? Ah, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. Hmm. Huh? What's this? What's going on? What? What was that? What was that? That was another envelope. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. She's still in high school. Why is she going to Europe? I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Why is it back? Hello? What is this? It's an envelope. Hello? Aw, ain't that cute? She's a little kid. No wonder she wanted to be like her sister. Done! Alright, guys. That is done. That episode is done. Saving content. Do not turn off your PC. No shit. Okay. So, that was that. And so we're going to call it here for now. And later tonight, we are going to. Hold on a second. Something didn't work right. Boop. No. That one. There we go. And so later tonight, we are going to be back. I don't know yet what I'm going to be playing. Yeah, go get some more sleep. And I don't know yet what we're gonna go play. We might actually jump back into Valhalla, or we might do some House Flipper. Um, who knows yet? I do have a ton of games that I could play. I don't know yet, but it's time for me to get some food, get some dinner, and so we are going to do that. And yes, so I'm gonna exit the game. We'll hit that button. We're gonna hit that button. Haha. And we're gonna hit that button. And so we will be back at about 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time with who knows what. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you guys later. Now let's see who's all out there. Let's see who's all still streaming. Boo, ba doo, boo, boo. Oh, you know what? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh. Let's see. What is they doing? Okay, they're still doing that, and she's still doing that. I'm gonna silly little ad there. Ooh, she's on attempt 3. Um, let's go. Let's go read. Because meeny, meeny, miny, mo. Ooh, who should I raid? Who should I raid? Uh, all right. Let's go raid Snowman. Sarah. Because she's doing one life challenges. She's on attempt 3 on extinction, and I don't know how she's feeling. But let's go raid her, and we'll go see. We'll just go hang out. So thanks for hanging out, guys, and we will catch you guys all later. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, the screams were coming through for a second. Sorry, my just